What's up? How you my people? Today is Wednesday, August 2026. Over the 5th of August, I'm sure it's the 5th. Anyway, there's always been a bitter contest about my decision to leave a career prospective job in the Uganda Revenue Authority. You don't know these things. Katikamba bulide. Let me clear the dust. I returned from Kenya having spent 1 month in Tanzania. I told you I was not coming back to Uganda. I had fallen in love with Angelina, the Tanzanian beauty, but I had to return because my mom was sick. So when I returned back to Uganda and I checked the situation at home, first of all, my mom was in hospital when I came back from Kenya, in Zambia hospital. Seeing my mom in that situation really shook me. She had taken ill. You know the story already. She fell and her health took a nosedive. It was a tough one. Now, we were getting a lot of support from family, friends, neighbors, and all those. You know, the people loved my mom. Which meant my mom was the LC before it became RC, women's representative. In 1996, she had stood for MP, Kawempe division. She pulls out because of her health condition and passes that on. It was a member of parliament contested seat, which would become Kawempe Division North, Kawempe Division South, and things like that. But my mom was the first one to put her name out there, and she overwhelmingly swept the division. So she had pulled out and hands that over to Mr. Medi Kagwa. So I'm going to connect the two together. Then you know how I end up in Uganda Revenue Authority. At that time, Uncle Medi Kagwa was the principal secretary, Uganda Revenue Authority. I want you to understand this thing, how circumstances would play in the hands of this prevailing situation of my return. Uncle Medi knew me from when I was been in primary. His brother Kisitu Asadu, we would go in URA at the same time. Kisitu was in my same class in the P7. Yeah, I had to sing mathematics. Ngazenzi nako nekudako basimu katende nekudako bani bonna. So, kakati, I'm back in Kampala. Hey, the situation was dire. So we had to look after my mom. So my mom makes that decision to discharge herself from hospital on the advice of the Franciscan sisters. They told her, you know, you're better off living out the little bit of time you have left. She preferred to stay at home care. She could afford. And even she was worried about people knowing she's in hospital. She wanted her privacy. She wanted a lot of things to be contained. My mom was the most beautiful woman in Kampala in the 80s. Narurunji, Avuga Benza, Kola Chilo, she was very much up there in the status quo of things. So we are in the 90s. Now, one evening, I remember Uncle Medi had come to see my mom just to cross-check on things, whatever, things just going on and about. And then we were talking in the sitting room. I've just returned back from Nairobi. I was studying customs clearing and forwarding. I didn't know at the time that it was in URA. Now, he would tell me this. Mutabane, Nagala okole probation. jangu ku office olwo nali ne anko Suubi waliwo anko wange era musiraamu nanti my mom side they are all Muslims mwami Suubi ow'Ekansanga I don't know if they're still there. He was trying to connect me to industry area. There was a workshop, whatever, to manage a workshop, things like that. So I was in between. And I had another job offer in Uganda fisheries. Because I remember I went there for an interview. Uganda fisheries, Uganda fisheries, export manager, Uganda fisheries. I had seen the jobs back then, the jobs in the newspapers, you could get them. Then I could interview. Kati, this is what happens. By the end of the day, I'm given a job at Nakawa. Do you see what the building is? The new building. The Uganda Revenue Authority building, the new one, the glossy one. And we were in a Nakawa long room. Wali on a bonded warehouse in Nene. Kati we muita bondi, we muteke motoka where the cars are received, imported cars and cleared from customs long room. In clearing and forwarding, you would log your documents here, and they would go through the whole clerical administrative paperwork until you paid your import taxes and import dues. Back then everything was under Ministry of Finance. Let me take you back again, just a little bit. Around 1992, I would assume, the World Bank, the big one, IMF World Bank, introduces a new system under what we would call Structural Adjustment Program, SAPS. They would manifest later in 96, 97, liberalization and privatization of non-performing assets. Are you with me? I want you to follow this because Uganda was changing. Now, the director of URA at the time was a Ghanaian economist. Was it David something? He was synonymous with driving a white Pajero. Pajero ngazakaja. Before now, when we became billionaires, we were driving in Penconis. He was him and Mr. Katunji of UCB. There were just a handful of people driving those Pajeros. Remember those white Pajeros? Then they were all flooded in the ministries. Bule ministry negula Pajero, Mitsubishi Pajero. Temumanyi bintu temubijjukira. Brand new. Ngolo tugenda okuva mugundi mu Santana. Remember the Santanas? They were like a knockoff Land Rover. And of course there was the Nissan Laurels driven by the ministers. Then the Isuzu Kebbi were the government official cars. Muzijukira Kebbi, Isuzu. Can you see, you know everything? I remember the Nissan Laurel from Mr. Amanya Mushega, who was the Minister of Education. He came to Buganda Road. He was the most loved Minister of Education. He visited almost every school in Uganda. Amanya Mushega. He was a super darling, very good minister. I shook hands with him. That's how I end up going to Nakasero State House. Mwaita 7 tuyimbira mu 7 school choir Uganda Road. We sang the AIDS song. I have the video. Then we go to National Theatre. Those were the school days. Let me take you back to 1996 now. So I landed the job on probation. 6 months. 6 months. I was with my team of people who entered at around that time. Na ine same bomboka nga aliko good shade wali kulerwe umuti kati umuti kula cement where there is cement. the cement deep or whatever kusawa ya Queen awo umanyi nti train yatuuka eddala nga paka awo train, the goods train which came from Mombasa, which came from Tororo or from Jinja, it used to end there in Tebe Road Junction, kati where the flyover is. Very, very busy place. Kakati ngawo bakiriyaringirawo emigugu. Richard Mwiru naye twali naye Nairobi, a very, very good friend of mine, twasoma fenna customs clearing, ye ng'ali ku HQ offices za Uganda Revenue Authority zaasooka zaali ku Parliamentary Avenue ng'ali waggulu mu division gye bayitanga VAT VAT section, ze ng'ali mu declaration in Nakawa boarded warehouse. So you can see the generation. Kakati fe tugenda okuyingira Kampala n'abalala bonna ba OB. Kampala was changing. Kati generation eyaffe fe twajja ne kibayita the concept of corporate, the young corporate or the young elite. Twayugumya Kampala bannange. Ng'abaana ba MTN bavuga buyero. Abaana ba Nile Breweries ba Shems Takanga bavuga. Abaana ba Uganda Breweries. You people, you understand? Yeah, it's me. I'm always, when I do come, I do a bit of videos for my page, on my Instagram page and YouTube.
Okay.
Yes. All right, then. I see you again. Yeah. So you can see how things were changing. Nyingi de URA, life was moving at a very fast pace. Tugendo kola sent yadimo Kampala. I'm talking about money. We were being paid handsomely, and we were also making money. Deals zalinga mu Kampala nga sente zitambula left, right, and center. Tuli batu tuli mu 20s. Kati olwo sports bars zigenda kutandika Capital Pub. Genda ku Kisementi, Mateosi, Nandosi, Steers. Everything was happening so fast. Steers jengenda okusanga Bettina. That's where I met Bettina, the general's daughter. Kampasa. Simwagadde. Nali mvana kuyiwala ekukola. Mvuga. Nga mbuze motoka yange esooka. Corona. Uganda Revenue Authority ngenda kutandika okukola nga nyambala obusaati obwa blue. I used to wear those blue shirts. There were a set of them, 6, half a set, Monday to Friday, same, right up to date. They still wear the same color. Nze ntandika ekintu ekyo. I was very, very smart, always on time. Ashe mwete munda byeko. And when I look back, then I begin to transformation of things, how things metamorphose, whatever. And they are influenced by forces that happen to be in the right place. Akati, I enjoyed working in URA. It was a new dawn of things. Kakati bano betusangayo ba old school. You know, remember now you talk about civil servants, public servants, bamanye emirimu, their jobs for life, very comfortable, tebai feel yo come back tomorrow, blah blah blah. There was always fituzene vigor ya man, vigor, the energy. You know, you're a young man turning up to work, smartly dressed, you are in a tie, you're looking up to things, things were happening. So 1 month, 2 months, then they roll out a new tax. It was called CTL, Commercial Transaction Levy Tax. If you remember that tax, CTL, purchasing something, it later on became VAT, Value Added Tax. Nali somye ebintu ebyo byenjogera mbitegeera. I'm talking about money the government earns, revenue government. Now, we the Ministry of Finance and what? Planning and Development. It was a long ministry. Treasury. It was a big ministry. Now I'm learning that the President of the Republic of Uganda is always the Minister of Finance. They are controlling a sector treasury. He dips in. What I'm saying. So, but now, Uncle Medical Gwa, I think he had prospects in me, and his brother was working there already. Now, tumaze okufuna probation period was finished, and Mr. Labasho, the Ghanaian man, the Ghanaian director, the first director of URA, was resigning. He was finishing his service. I think it was 5 years. World Bank. He was a very, very good guy. He laying a template. Yeah, things that were to change and things that were to be done. World Bank and all that. And up to date. You are a way, Fetwadi type, who are the foundation, Fetwadi, Emisai Emitu. And I brought in very, very young people, young professionals, Gabetwadi. And Chengamba Bantunti, had I stayed in URA, I would be a commissioner today. I would be probably somewhere up in the ranks. Kubanga abantu bonna bennalekayo bonna bali ku commissioner level bonna. Okay, a few left. It's a passage of time. Things over a period of time, things change. A few people left. Moved on katinganzi nange wenavayo nze salinda kuchitulamu, but there was no reason for me to leave. It wasn't there. The reason I left URA was because I had a bigger dream, and my dream was to set up business, having met the investors of Capital Pub, and that would change the course of direction of my life. Nali nsomye ddala nasoma. When I left Maharishi International University, on a sad note, I was in Maha for 1 year on the premise that I was going to the United States to finish. My mom had this dream. She always wanted me to study abroad, or in the UK or in America. There was no shortcut about it. But it all came down to the wire when she fell sick. So in 1995, I had returned back to Uganda after my first year. And we came to that agreement. I think atufike n'ebizibu ebirala ekyebando, ennyumba yaffe y'ekyebando, awali Homes Darling. Now you don't know these things. Mbabuulira. Homes Darling weeri. That is our house. There was a very, very big battle. It was a very big battle. We lost that house in a very, very scrupulous, dubious way. Ennyumba eyo, my dad had built it on land given to him by his father, so-called father, Mzee Musisi. N'ebirala byonna bye mutamanya, waaliwo nene nnyo, eka nga 20, kuliko farm, kuliko ki. We lost that. So there was a very big battle. 1995. And those who remember in the news, Mumunno ne Mungabo baziikula taata wange ne bamusuula mu compound. Do you imagine? It was something that sent shockwaves in Chebando and in Kampala. Omugagga Chanda bamuzaalo kusei blah blah blah. Very ugly. My mom being that she was young. And we ended up having to bury my dad in the garden. We've lost the house. We lost that house. So we had home 95. I'll give you that story. The story of Urunji Nyom Gitegere, Navy Ali will be one for Nyom. The alumni lessons to learn. Ozekora class. Hello, sweet.
Hi.
How go cause?
Which yours are you using?
Both of them.
Oh.
But tapping. What was
I'm not coming to the class.
What are you coming for?
I'm not doing my exercises.
No, you're going to do the class.
I'm not.
But you want to argue with me now. But you're looking good.
Thank you.
I love you. Nga baziikula taata wange ekitagobwa biliyoniya omugenzi Simpson William Chanda bamuzaalukuse talina kika kijuyi mwana bintu byali ffe twali baana bato tetubitegeera. That's 95. So bwenzeeyo mu 96 no nadde 95 May June nga tumaze that scandal ne tugenda ku Manda Road kati nengamba kanzire Kenya nsome clearing nali ndabye advert mawulire Nation newspaper Institute of Shipping and Transport Management era nze neesasulira. I paid my own tuition. Ngenda kutandika business e Kenya eya photography. If you go to Nairobi Uhuru Park to date, you will find people who take pictures. People who, how are you, coach? I have your pictures. I have your number. I have your telephone.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll send you your pictures. Many pictures we're taking. I send for you on the phone. Okay. Thank you. Remind me. And Ganzira ye Kenya. Ganeso Mesa. Institute of Shipping and Transport Management. I paid.
Maybe now no have. You finish talking. Come in. I give you number.
New number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I come in. Coach. We've taken pictures. Very good friend of mine. Anyway, story in pound. Clearly, it was by accident how I ended up doing that course. The newspaper caption, I had it for a long time. Then that's how I'm going to end up in Pumwani Boys Hostel or ECD. Nkube ebifaananyi Nairobi yonna nenjimala nkwanya omuwala mu photography mwala bamutanga Kamau. Ebifaananyi byange babyoza express nga ba films nenzitwala mangu nengabane. Today the business is still there in Uhuru Park. Nze ntandika ekintu ekyo nga nfuna, Nairobi is a very touristy place, so people always like to take pictures on the go. Kati nga nze idea ngifunye nendyoka nkwata hostels zonna mu Nairobi ezisinga zonna nga bamanyi, girls hostels and boys hostels and everything. But I came back with so many ideas in Kampala of running business or to make money. So there are many people who say, but why did you leave URA? Why did you? There were many reasons. Kati we nkwatagana n'abazungu bano Dominic ne Grant. Ono omuzungu omulala omukadde nga bakwano bange nnyo. Now everything I tell them they believe. They believe. Era nabakolera sente. Ate nange nenkola sente. Everybody it was a win-win. There were no gaming rules back then. Things were very much on the novice, nobody. It was a wild west. By 99, things are up. And how are you?
Okay.
I'm fine, long
I
time.
saw you last time.
Yes.
Patrick, and you was busy.
If I headphone, no, sorry.
I knew you was like.
Yes.
Yeah, you was.
But everything is good?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I missed you. The lesson is really.
Keep
How
it up.
you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yes, okay.
Everything's getting better.
Yeah. See you.
Inshallah. Okay, my sister. All right. Kakati, we are going to continue this story because it's a lot. It's a lot. Nti ngeno kutuka mu 99 okufuuka bilionia. Then you're gonna had an argument, whatever. This my madam namugamba nti nze ebintu bya family tekintu kyesirabye. Name example nti nze nabanyumiza story ya Bettina n'ennyumba gye twakoona wansi. Nzimba ennyumba bbiri nze mugamba nti nze ebintu bina bye mukaayanamu ebya family ebirina mukaayana buyumba. Don't waste your time. Kwata sente zo weeyongereyo. Ffe twakoona dda amayumba. Omukazi n'agamba nti togenda gizimba neeyiika. Ennyumba ne bagikuba wansi ku ttaka. Entebe Peninsula Bay. The sente ze nalimu. So you can get where things are coming from. So I'm going to continue this story of URA. And babuulira ebirala byonna ebyaliwo bye mutamanya naye nga Uganda Revenue Authority eyo twaleeta ideas nyingi nnyo and that's why it's worked. Many agencies have failed in Uganda there nyingi naye lwaki URA surviving bandi dismantling but it seems to be going. Ne basimba ne HQ that building, yeah, that means they're doing well. Apart from being that it's a government institution or it's an agency, and failings, but the template was there. Why take out template, tax collection and all that. So let's see. Let me go inside now. Let's get inside. Go and do some work. Mufuna bulungi nnyo nze mbabulira mboozi bye mutamanya aba bye muwulira obuwulizi URA ebbo musolo bitayita naye yatandikawo etya. How did it start? Bani abaakirimu who engineered the whole thing vis-a-vis the fact that it was a World Bank project? Kyandivuddewo ne bateekawo ekirala. Are you together people? Baagala nnyo.